Good morning, students. We are going through the lesson India events after 1960. We have seen some of the important events which have taken place in the year in 1960s. The war with Pakistan, the war which was fought in the year 1962 with China. The first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, second Lal Bahadur Shastri, third Indira Gandhi, fourth Morarji Desai, fifth Charan Singh, and sixth again Indira Gandhi. One more important event which is taken place this time, that was India conducted an underground atomic test at Pokhran in Rajasthan in the year 1974. Another important event which took place in the year 1975, that was the people of Sikkim demanded that they want to become the part and parcel of the Indian Federation. So Sikkim became the full-fledged state in Indian Federation in the year 1975. A war which was fought with Pakistan in the year 1965 when Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister. One more war which was fought in the year 1962 with China in the McMahon region, when Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was the Prime Minister. Lal Bahadur Shastri gave the slogan stressing the importance of farmers as well as soldiers. The slogan was Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. In the year 1977, the general elections were conducted in which the Indian National Congress under the leadership of Indira Gandhi was roundly defeated and Janata Party came to power and Morarji Desai became the Prime Minister. But his government couldn't last for long because of internal differences, and it collapsed, and again Charan Singh became the Prime Minister. That was also for a very short time. In the year 1980, again the elections were conducted and Congress Party under the leadership of Indira Gandhi came to power again. After in 1980s, there was little difficult time which was going on. The Sikhs in Punjab, they demanded for an independent state of Khalistan. And this movement spread all over the state. People started supporting this movement, and it also became violent and destructive. So that's why the Indian army was called. A neighboring country, Pakistan, was supporting the terrorists, supporting to this movement. And that's why some of the terrorists, those who were supporting this movement, they had taken shelter in the Golden Temple of Amritsar, which was a holy shrine of Sikhs. But it was necessary to take out these terrorists from the temple. After requesting also, they were not ready to listen, and that's why the Indian army was called to take action against them. To evict the terrorism who had allegedly taken shelter there, one of the 6 bodyguards in Indira Gandhi's personal security assassinated her. Now, when the army was called to take action against the terrorist, there was bloodshed. It hurt the feelings of the Sikhs, and that's why one of the bodyguard in the personal security of Prime Minister Indira Gandhi assassinated her, killed her. During this period, an organization called United Liberation Front of Assam carried on a major movement in the northeast India. Now see, we think that there are a lot of difficulties, lot of problems. Somewhere the people were fighting for their rights, somewhere people were demanding for separate state, somewhere people were fighting for other reasons. Here also the United Liberation Front of Assam carried out a major movement in northeast India. Right after Indira Gandhi's assassination in 1984, Rajiv Gandhi became the Prime Minister of India. After the death of Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, the son of Indira Gandhi, became the Prime Minister of India. He tried to make several reforms in the field of Indian economy and that of science and technology. Underline it. Rajiv Gandhi gave importance to science and technology, and also he tried his best to improve the economy. He took the lead in solving the issues of the Tamil minority in Sri Lanka. The Tamil people, those who were living in Sri Lanka, they were facing lot of problems. He tried to solve those problems. He promoted the idea of a united Sri Lanka with internal autonomy to the Tamil community, but his efforts in this regard proved to be in vain. He tried his best that Sri Lanka should be all people in Sri Lanka should be given their rights. The idea of united Sri Lanka with internal autonomy to the Tamil community. Tamil people also, they should get their rights. But his efforts in this regard proved to be in vain. He faced a lot of criticism in the context of corruption that took place during a defense equipment deal, especially the purchase of long-range cannons from foreign company called Bofors. Underline this, Bofors. Political corruption became a critical issue in the general elections that followed, and the Congress party was defeated. Rajiv Gandhi tried his best to improve the economy. He tried his best to give importance to science and technology. He tried to give justice to the Tamil people in Sri Lanka, but unfortunately he was accused for the corruption in buying the equipment for army, especially the Bofors. Political corruption became a crucial issue in the general election that followed, and the Congress party was defeated. Several political parties formed a coalition called the Janata Dal, and Vishwanath Pratap Singh became the next Prime Minister of India. Because of the political corruption, Rajiv Gandhi was defeated in the next election, and all the opposition parties came together and they formed Janata Dal and contested the election, and they got majority. Vishwanath Pratap Singh or VP Singh became the next Prime Minister of India. After Rajiv Gandhi, Vishwanath Pratap Singh became the Prime Minister. Now remember the various Prime Minister from the beginning. पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू, लाल बहादुर शास्त्री, इंदिरा गांधी, मोरारजी देसाई, चरण सिंह, again Indira Gandhi, then Rajiv Gandhi, and now Vishwanath Pratap Singh. The policy providing reservation for other backward classes, OBCs, is considered to be his most important contribution. During the time of Vishwanath Pratap Singh as a Prime Minister, he gave reservation to the OBCs, other backward classes. Is considered to be his most important contribution. He could not continue as Prime Minister due to internal differences. Same thing happened with Vishwanath Pratap Singh also. He could not remain as a Prime Minister for a long time because of internal differences. Because many more parties had come together and they were not happy with the administration, and that's why the support was taken back. In 1990, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister of India. His government was also short-lived. After Vishwanath Pratap Singh, after VP Singh, Chandrasekhar became the Prime Minister, and same thing happened with him. He also remained as a Prime Minister for very short time. His government was also short-lived. In 1991, during the election campaign, the terrorist organization in Sri Lanka, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam (LTTE), assassinated Rajiv Gandhi. In 1991, when Rajiv Gandhi was on the election campaign, he was assassinated by the LTTE, and that was the end of Rajiv Gandhi's life. Towards the end of the decade 1980s, the unrest in Jammu and Kashmir had begun. The terrorist activities there forced the Kashmiri Pandits to leave the valley. This problem grew serious day by day, and today it has taken the form of terrorism. Another issue which is faced by the people in 1980s, that was the terrorists were asking the Kashmir Pandits to leave the Kashmir valley, and it became a major problem. Now, after Rajiv Gandhi, who became the Prime Minister? Vishwanath Pratap Singh. Next one, Chandrasekhar. The changes after 1991. The year 1991 is held to be very important in the history of the world as well as India. The Soviet Union disintegrated into several different small countries, and the Cold War came to an end. Underline 1991. Soviet Union was disintegrated. It was Soviet Union. It disintegrated, it became small countries, which was divided in small groups, small countries. And the Cold War came to an end. Now, what is the concept of Cold War? Cold War is a war that is not fought with weapons, with the political policies, and in other way it is fought. There is no actual war taking place. The government under the leadership of Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao initiated many changes in the Indian economy. During this period, the Ram Janmabhoomi and Babri Mosque issue at Ayodhya came to the forefront. In this time only Soviet Union was disintegrated, and another issues which were taking place in the country, they were the Ram Janmabhoomi and Babri Mosque issue at Ayodhya, those had become important. In the elections conducted between 1960s and 1999, no political party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha. This resulted in three governments in a short span of time. Those led by Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, H.D. Devegowda and Inder Kumar Gujral were amongst them. The elections which were taken place in between 1996 to 1999, no political party had got majority, and that's why first Atal Bihari Vajpayee formed the government, but it was very short-lived. Then H.D. Devegowda and Inder Kumar Gujral. Finally, in 1999, the National Democratic Alliance came to power under the flag of Bharatiya Janata Party, and Atal Bihari Vajpayee became India's Prime Minister. Atal Bihari Vajpayee tried to establish a dialogue with Pakistan but was not successful. India conducted a number of nuclear tests in 1998 and declared herself as an atomic power. The first atomic test was conducted in the year 1974. Now again in 1998, several nuclear tests were conducted when Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister and proved herself as an atomic power. In 1999, there was another war between India and Pakistan in Kargil region for the Kashmir issue. India defeated Pakistan in this war as well. Underline Kargil. This war in 1999, a war was fought in between India and Pakistan on the Kargil issue, and India defeated Pakistan in this war. Indian economy. Right from independence, the modernization of economy, economic self-sufficiency and social justice have been characteristics of Indian economy. Underline the three things: modernity, self-reliance, modernization of economy, economic self-sufficiency and social justice. These were the characteristics of Indian economy. Modernization of economy means to bring new technology in industrialization as well as in other fields, so that the national income will increase. Self-sufficiency, to produce the things in the country itself, so that all the needs of the people, those will be fulfilled by the country itself. No need to depend on other countries for most of the things. And social justice, to give justice to the people, to consider each and every person equal. All these things are very important. India wanted to acquire modernity and self-reliance by establishing industries. India wanted modernity and self-reliance. Modernity means to bring the modern technology in the field of agriculture, in the field of industries and in other sectors, and to become self-reliant. No need to depend on any other country for anything. We wanted to establish an economy based on social justice through planning. For this, the National Planning Commission was established that would coordinate development through the policy of 5 years plan. To bring this development, to bring this change, National Planning Commission was established. And this National Planning Commission decided to bring change, decided to make India self-sufficient through 5 years plan. What the country is going to do in the next 5 years, that was planned beforehand. Now this will be the change. India will do this in the next 5 years. For this particular sector, the importance will be given so that the country will become self-sufficient. The Narasimha Rao government started economic reforms from 1991. These economic reforms are called as economic liberalization. The Indian economy flourished as a result of the implementation of this policy. The foreign investment in India increased. Skilled Indian professionals helped reform the Indian economy. The field of information technology opened several avenues of employment in the country. The changes after 1991 are also described as globalization. Now this economic liberalization helped to flourish the Indian economy. Foreign companies, foreign countries started investing their money in our country. And as they started investing money in the industries, lot of people started getting jobs. As they got jobs, the standard of living increased. As they got jobs, as the industries started in the country, the national income increased. And the standard of living also that changed. Two major events must be mentioned while describing India's efforts towards self-reliance. Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is known as the father of Green Revolution in 1965. Underline it. Dr. M.S. Swaminathan is known as the father of Green Revolution. This Green Revolution is related with agriculture. To become self-sufficient in food grains, a committee was appointed under the leadership of M.S. Swaminathan, and he gave his report. He suggested certain things which will help to develop the agriculture. And that's why he is known as the father of Green Revolution. He implemented his scientific agriculture techniques and increased the production of food grains. He asked the government to use the science technology in the production of food grains. The experiment in cooperative dairy movement by Verghese Kurian led to the increase of milk production in India. This is called as White Revolution. The first one is Green Revolution, and the credit goes to M.S. Swaminathan. Second one is White Revolution, in increase of dairy production. The credit goes to Dr. Verghese Kurian, and that's why this is known as White Revolution. Lot of new technology is brought in that to increase the production of milk. India had also made a lot of progress in the field of atomic energy and space research. Dr. Homi Bhabha laid the foundation of the Indian atomic power program. Underline it. Dr. Homi Bhabha laid the foundation of Indian atomic power program. India insisted on using atomic power energy for peaceful purposes like generation of electricity, pharmaceuticals and defense. The foundation of the atomic power energy program that was put, but India decided that this atomic power will not be used for destruction, will not be used to attack the other countries, but it will be used for constructive purposes. For example, generation of electricity. To fulfill the need of electricity of the people, this atomic energy will be used. Also, it will be used in pharmaceuticals, in chemical companies, especially in the factories or the companies where the medicines are made. In that industries, this will be used. And defense. India has achieved considerable success in space technology as well. In 1975, the first satellite Aryabhatta was launched. Underline 1975, and the first satellite Aryabhatta that was launched by India. The first satellite was launched by India in the year 1975, and the name of the satellite is Aryabhatta. Today, India has a successful space program and many satellites have been launched. Under this program, India has also made considerable advancement in the telecom sector. Now, so many satellites are launched, and these satellites are used for different purposes. Changes in the social field. During the period, there were several major changes in the social fields in India. Some of the changes are related with the issue of the empowerment of women. In the past, women were not given importance, but now the society was changing. The government was trying to give importance to the women and to make use of their knowledge for the betterment of the country. The others are related with the policies regarding the uplift of the deprived sections of the society. Deprived sections. Those are deprived sections are those which are not developed, totally neglected part of the society for the betterment, because they are also the citizens of the country and they should also get proper justice, and that's why they were also given importance. To promote all-round development of women and children, a separate Department of Women and Child Development was created in 1985 under the Ministry of Human Resources. Separate Department for the Development of Women and Children was established in the year 1985. Some laws were made to ensure social justice to women and to help the implementation of various schemes in this direction. They include the Prohibition of Dowry Act. Underline Dowry Act. You must be knowing that when a woman gets married, that time she has to give lot of wealth, money to the bridegroom. That is called as dowry. Sometimes they are forced to give it, and if it is not given, the girl is harassed. So that was really a very bad tradition and custom. So the act was made to prohibit, to stop the dowry system. Equal Remuneration Act. Equal remuneration means equal, same work, same payment. Same work, same money. Same work, same wages. Same work, same salary. That is, if there should not be any discrimination. If the work is same, the woman as well as the man should get equal payment for that. There should not be any discrimination. The 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment seats were reserved for women in the local self-government bodies. Amendments means change, little change, not totally this on top. Some corrections are done, and as per this amendment, women also got reserved seat in the local self-government bodies. They were able to contest the election like Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti, Jilla Parishad, Municipal Corporation, Municipality, etc. Some seats are reserved, nearly 50% seats are reserved for them. Okay, we will stop here. Thank you very much. God bless you.